to discuss, and it's not going to be necessarily a voting matter, more of a, just to make everyone aware of what's going on. So a couple of months ago, we had an officer that came to the board meeting and expressed some concerns about a couple of things, but two of the major ones were the equipment and the starting pay for patrol officers. So over the last maybe month or so, I've had conversations with the entire department as well as Scott and Kenny about path forward, you know, how can we change this, improve this, etc. So the solution that we came up with, since we're in the middle of the fiscal year, I don't want to do anything that could impact the budget. So I worked up a way to increase the starting pay for patrol officers that would not impact the budget in a negative way. So what my solution is going to be is that we'll have a chief, an assistant chief, or it doesn't necessarily have to be that title. It can be like an upper level assistant type position, and then 4 patrol officers. And the 4 patrol officers, the starting pay would be $17.50, which is competitive. I spoke to several local agencies, worked a little bit with MTAS on this too, to get like a solid wage for officers. I know it's really hard to get them right now. It's not a very lucrative, safe, liked position right now. So, you know, it's really hard to get officers, but if we're competitive with our pay, then I think we would stand to be a competitive agency to work with. So we would have 4 patrol officers at $17.50, and in having that structure, it actually decreases the wages, because what we had budgeted before was for, I believe, 7 or 8 officers total. So all of the money that's being saved out of the wages by making that one change is going to be put down into the equipment line item, which gives an additional $44,000 for equipment, which could potentially get us a cruiser, maybe a used cruiser. I'm not sure. I've been talking to Scott a little bit about what our options are, because we did not budget for a cruiser at the beginning of the year. We didn't get an order placed for a new vehicle. So I don't know if we'll be able to get a new one or not. We've been talking about it a little bit, maybe trying to find something that's used. But I just wanted to make you all aware that we're going to be moving those funds around to try to, it's basically just as a solution to the concerns that came up a couple of months ago.
Well, was Scott, when he, the gal ran into him out here, did that total that car?
It did.
I figured it did.
Yeah.
Did the guy have insurance to pay for it?
Well, it's totaled, so we just get what the car is worth, and it was about $13,000. So we didn't get a lot
out of ours. I'm saying, did he have insurance to pay that?
He doesn't pay it, our insurance pays it. It was totaled, and our insurance got a check for, or paid for the vehicle.
Okay, so he, in other words, the money, the $13,000 did come from his insurance or something?
It came from insurance, and it came to us already.
Our insurance or his?
Our insurance paid for that.
How many vehicles do we have right now in the fleet? Police department owned.
No, they don't.
That's functional.
You got one up here at the body shop, will soon be functional.
Well, they said they had the parts up for it in, and we had it. They come and got it. They're yet to start on it. Right now, that's functional. I think we've got, 6, maybe.
That'd just be about enough, wouldn't it? 4 officers, chief of police. That's 5. If we have
I
6.
And I don't know that we'll even be able to buy a vehicle this year. Like I said, we're kind of late to the game. But what I'm doing is presenting a solution to the concerns that came up so that we're ready to go. If we need to buy another one, if God forbid another accident occurs and we do need to buy something immediately, we have the funds there and they're ready to go.
That one was a used car to begin with, when,
I believe so.
The white
White
Explorer?
Was it?
Yeah, we bought it used.
The money that we're putting in, supposedly putting into savings every month for equipment replacement,
Yes.
how are you calculating that?
It is not transferred into any account. What we do is we budget for the depreciation of the vehicles. And I think we've been doing that, this is probably the 3rd year for that. So every year, I believe it's about 20,000 for the police replacement. So there is money there. What we did not do is budget to purchase something. So we've got money there, but it's not in the budget. It would take an amendment to put it in there. This is just a way to avoid having to do a budget amendment and take that money and actually put it in there.
How much does a police car, a new one cost?
I have.
60-some?
I have contacted Columbia Dodge, which is, they deal with the fleet vehicles for Dodge. And I've contacted Ford dealership that does the fleet vehicles. Right now, they don't have anything, but you're looking at about between 41 and 44,000.
Well, it's cheaper than I thought, I thought
Hmm.
60.
Is that?
Well, that's cars that's on state bid.
Is that fully equipped or is that just the car?
No, that's just for the car.
So I don't want some, you know.
And to
What's the
equip it, you're looking between 8 and 10,000. Because you've got all of the metal work for the partitions, the consoles, and all of that.
Is anything salvageable out of the car that was totaled?
That's what I was fixing to ask.
It's salvageable, like the partition for the cage and stuff like that, but a lot of that equipment is vehicle specific. That's coming out of the Ford Explorer. Right now, you can't get a Ford Explorer because of the shutdown, and Highway Patrol has went across the state and purchased every police package vehicle they could possibly find. And the quote that I got for an Explorer was actually for a 2025 model.
and that's an older one, probably don't even fit anyway, but
It really depends how much they change the inside and you know, some of the equipment on the outside. As far as lights and stuff, that's not so much vehicle specific.
So you can get things off of an older Ford Explorer.
I've not went out there to see what I was salvageable off that one yet, but it's a possibility, yes.
See me.
If we got a new one, a 2024, 2025, how many years do you think something like that would last if we didn't have one total?
I mean, you're looking probably 6, 7 years before, you know, the wear and tear will, you know, will start.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have to start, you know, dealing with stuff that outside the normal maintenance.
was that white one, or was it a main one, or was it more of a backup on these?
It was, at the time, it was a mainline vehicle. It was actually one that I was driving. It was a mainline vehicle, but I started driving it whenever, we got the newer Durangos.
Yeah.
Because it was the one being driven, by a detective at one point.
if we're actually putting 20,000 aside, we will be able to replace one every 3 years then? Is that something that would be realistic, Scott, for the police department?
I mean, realistically, if you look at it, if we're only gonna have, 6 people at the police department, and the life of a cruiser is 6 years, about one every year, by the time you get around to that 6th person, that cruiser's probably ready to be replaced.
So we don't have anything currently right now good enough to sustain us till we would reach.
We've got one, right now, we have one, what we call a pool car, a backup car, and it's a 2013 model, and it's being held together with Band-Aids.
Yeah,
Because it's high mileage, it's a older vehicle, and it's had a lot of wear and tear. And we're having to do a lot of work on it. The more we drive it, the more work we're having to do on it.
so we're up against the wall then, aren't we?
Question about the pay, the starting pay. If somebody was to come here from another agency or whatever and had experience, are they still starting out with that $17.50 or are they eligible for more?
I would say that they would potentially be eligible for more if they were coming with more experience. They'd probably be more of a higher level. I guess that would be up to whoever is doing the hiring, which would be most likely the chief. So, that would be their discretion as long as it was within our budget. So, that's kind of a hard question to answer right now.
Oh, yeah.
You said we're gonna have 4 patrol people there, are we gonna have a detective at all?
I think the upper level position underneath the chief would have to be something that, a versatile position, so they would need to be able to wear,
Detective together.
yeah. I don't know, I don't want to make the call of what the title is gonna be.
Yeah.
I want that to be done by the chief, because they're gonna know what is going to suit their needs. I'm just trying to structure the department where it stays within our current adopted budget.
Yeah.
And that is a solution to the concerns that came up as far as hiring new officers, and getting appropriate, reliable equipment.
Okay. If this goes in effect before we get a chief, are we still gonna have a detective?
We have a detective right
Yeah.
now, so.
I didn't know you just going in for a patrolman there, I didn't know we were gonna change it automatically, or we wait till we get a new chief then change it.
It would be, right now, we're not hiring for any patrol officers right now.
Okay.
So this would just go into effect with the current employees that we have that are on patrol. They would come to that pay, and then if, we needed to hire a new patrol officer for any reason, then that would be the starting pay for them.
Okay.
Do you mind to explain the shifts to me, maybe the rest of them know? I don't understand, you've got the total of 6 people, you've got vacation time, sick time. Can you explain how that operates?
How we cover those
Yes.
shifts when those people are off?
Yeah, how many
Well,
people?
we
how many
have
people?
part-time officers
Okay,
that they, most of them that we have, they work full-time, say at the sheriff's office, and then as needed, they'll come up here and work, but their availability depends on actually what they're working at their full-time. Their full-time job takes, first, yeah.
so the, part-time help is figured in with their, budget amount then, you know? Okay, and then you would have, full-time, officers, how many for day shift? You have day, what are you working, 7 to 3 or?
The patrol officers work a 12-hour shift. It's from 6 to 6, whether it's 6A to 6P, and then 6P to 6A.
Okay.
And the way their their rotation works on that is they average out working about 14 days a month. And then right now, your chief, assistant chief, and detective works a straight, like an 8 to 4, Monday through Friday.
You guys don't like running patrol?
We do. I mean, you see how I'm dressed. I come dressed to do whatever I need to do each day.
You said that to us before, I remember you saying that you go in
I mean,
dressed
we-
as if you have to have a call out and you're already ready to go out that door.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's what I thought you said last time you was in here. Thank you.
How many patrol officers do we have now? You said we're gonna have 4. How many do we have now? Do we have 4?
We are rotating forward, correct me if I'm wrong, one of them is the detective position who has taken on a patrol shift.
Okay,
So
so you,
we're working with 4 right now.
okay, cause you said, he was telling me that the detective works 8-hour shifts,
Mhm.
and the patrolman 12. That's what I was wondering there. Yeah, but
Normally he does, but right now, he's covering a shift.
and would that be overtime for him for that?
He is working his shift.
Okay.
Do we have that much crime going on that we need a detective full-time?
I would,
It-
not to interrupt you, but I would say that we do need to do a full-time detective. Just by riding along with the police officers.
It's not just the crime rate that you need a full-time detective for. It's the cases that he gets assigned are usually very time-consuming. He, going and doing interviews, going to court on them, and things like that.
There's a lot of paperwork to it too, isn't there?
And there's a whole lot of paperwork to detectives.
So you couldn't do that in 3 days?
What do you mean?
He does patrol, he works 5 days a week. What you're saying, from 8 to 4. So on Saturday and Sunday, if you need somebody, he'd have to go out and run patrol. But if you could do it in 3 days, he could take 2 days there and run patrol.
He is on call 24/7 if we need a detective. If we have a major crime, if we have, say just an unintended death that might be suspicious or something, he responds out on that. He 24/7, whether he's scheduled to work or not. He's the one that comes out on it, because if that ends up being, if it's a suspicious death and it ends up being, say, like a homicide, then he's gonna be busy on that for quite a while.
Okay.
But with this new, we have now 4 patrolmen, a chief, and I guess heifer, that position would be doing that, what a chief, basically part-time, what we're basically going with. Part-time assistant, part-time, investigator.
I think it would, the way that I would phrase it is just being able to wear multiple hats.
Yeah. With this small town, everybody wears at least 2 hats.
For the time being, I think that this position would just need to be wearing multiple hats.
Okay.
That's why I didn't really wanna give it a title.
And when the new chief comes in, they'll take care of all that, who would be in that position.
Yes.
So we're not putting nobody in that position now, but whenever the new one comes in, he'll put in the person in that position.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, until that point, we have the chief for the time being and the assistant chief. We still have a detective, and then he is just doing patrol right now,
Okay.
in addition to detective.
Okay.
But that's all that I have.
Couple of clarifying questions, Assistant Chief. When it comes to patrol cars, it's not like us going to a car lot and purchasing a car. There's procedures that y'all have to go through in order to get that police car, correct?
I mean, there's procedures, but Are you talking about, we can't just go buy a normal
Right,
car?
you just can't go out to, say, Scott Kia and buy a police car.
The
No.
white one we bought in Churchill,
If you buy, especially for a patrol position, it has to be, and I know y'all don't like the word, but it has to be pursuit rated, which means it's got a stiffer suspension, it's got a heavier alternator, it's built to be able to drive it at higher speeds whenever they need to, and it's built to accept and be able to run some of the equipment that we have to run on them. It's basically, on the inside, it's a stripped down version. It don't have many bells and whistles like you get in a normal car
Right.
at all.
And what is the time frame of purchasing a new police cruiser?
What do you mean by time frame?
A year, 2 years, 6 months, 9 months? If you placed an order today, how long would it take you to get a new police car?
I spoke with Columbia Dodge, and right now, they have no 2023 models left in their inventory. He quoted me a 2024, and he said he was possibly getting 4 of them sometime in January, and that's not a guarantee,
Right.
possibly. And that would be something, you've got to get your name on the list within that 4.
Right.
And it's the same way when you purchase them, during, say right around July or so, beginning of the budget. You're usually gonna get it maybe November, December, because there's so many orders coming in.
Right.
and that was something the new chief to do, would you usually pick what kind of car they want, the chief picks?
Well, I just didn't want the board just, in my opinion, think that, we can just go and get a car and be delivered to us within a certain period of time. It takes time for us to get a new one.
Well, I know what the used one, I wanted to wreck was bought in Churchill. That one was wrecked, it was used when we bought it.
By used ones, we can probably get pretty quick, but a new one, off the assembly line, it's gonna take just a little bit longer to get. As far as patrols, in your opinion, do we have enough coverage if somebody should happen to be sick or absent or something like that? Do you honestly think that you have enough coverage to cover those if that should happen? God forbid. one of our guys
In
is sick.
a perfect world, our part-time would be able to come in if we had enough notice. Say somebody want to take a vacation, that they give us enough notice, we can plan for that. If none of the part-time are available, what we have done is we'll either, whoever's off during that time can come in and work it. We have pulled detective and put him working that shift, but right now that's not an option. And then if nobody else, myself or chief would have to cover a shift.
And if you pull somebody, if it's on their days off, would that be considered overtime for them?
It would put them in overtime, because the way their schedule falls, it's not something that they can actually take off.
Right.
Because if they take off to burn that time, then we're going to find somebody to cover when they take off.
Right. Okay. And I commend you guys for doing the patrols. Like I said, I rode with 2 of them and pulled the whole shift with them, and they do patrol.
Thank you. Next.
That's all that I have.
Anybody else have anything to be brought up?
Yes, Carl, he has someone in his neighborhood, Scott, that has become annoying in the way that he drives too fast, revs up the motor, has become a nuisance to the neighbors that live on that street. It's my understanding that someone has come there. You wanna talk about it, Carl? You wanna talk to him about
We
it?
got a neighbor on our street, there've been 3 people complained about him. I did not complain. He drives a black old Chevrolet S10. and he's wild on that street with them small kids right there on the bottom. That one across the street said he drove his, at night, 11 o'clock, he come in and ripped the motor real loud. And she complained to the police department, and I think he's been trying to find him, I don't know if they have or not. He drives.
Does he live in your neighborhood?
Yeah, right below me. Probably 318, I think it's 318 he lives at, yeah.
I've worked for that, I've seen him too, I live right.
He lives right in front of us, yeah.
He's just a young kid with a lead foot.
Oh, yeah, he's a young kid.
With a
Like we all
red
wish.
truck.
And what's your name?
Mike Garrett,
Mike Derrick?
I'm Julio.
Pardon?
I'm Julio, I'm what they call Julio, you don't know who I am, you don't recognize me, Pat, I guess you don't with all this.
I don't
I'm
think
the,
I.
I'm the one, I'm waiting on to cut his police car up that he told her, I'm the metal man.
Oh, okay, I know who you are
You know who
now.
I am.
Yeah, that, the beard is,
Yeah, you
and
gonna
the
give me
hair
a,
is
you gonna give me a complex.
Yeah.
You're Julio.
Yes, I'm Julio,
Pat.
that's the street
Talk
talk.
about him all the time.
Talk about it.
Come see me over there tomorrow, and I'll get some, a little bit more info. Come see me
Oh,
at
that's
my
the
office
metal
tomorrow, I'll
man
get a little bit
that
more
picks out
info.
metal.
Yeah, I try to keep all the appliances too. The only thing that really, I have a problem with is when they leave rotten food in the refrigerator. If everybody do, if two more people do what I'm doing, the landfill will last another 10 years. I recycle everything. Only thing that scares me now is plastic. You're gonna realize how, try to go a whole day without touching plastic.
I had your little bunch up on,
Yes, you did.
I forget what street it was, over against the woods. What is that street?
God, you're asking me, I don't know. I think I'm something dementia. What are you talking about? What now?
In, Hamilton County subdivision. What's the street over all the way down, it comes down that creek, I guess it is Creek.
Creekside?
Yeah, that's what I had to know it bunch up at.
Yeah.
But you struggling with it.
Oh, God, I got a hernia from that now. I had to remind myself, I'm not really studying it now because I'm getting my social security check. I didn't think I'd live old enough to get it, but I did.
I've got some 8-foot jacks I'd like to get rid of.
Well, you just give me your address at 7 I'll come get them. If I don't, I got competition now. There's a girl, drives a red truck. I call her Elvira. She could body slam me. She's my competition. While I don't get, she'll pick up too.
But I do know that, of this guy that just does a job at Eastman, they're thinking about getting their plastic, recycling again.
It's not been that long ago, Pat. I was at your house, remember?
Yeah, you picked up some stuff, but I
Yes.
wasn't there. I just told you where it's at, get it, and go on. Because, and when by the way, guys, get his number, and if somebody in your neighborhood needs something picked up, give it to him. That's what I do. I call him, I say, can you go to such and such, they say, yeah, they want you to pick and get up. And I'll say, good, because it saves us money, it saves you them money.
What is your phone number?
It's, of course, 423-480-0170.
What was the last four, I'm sorry?
0170.
017.
Julio.
Yeah.
Is that a cell phone?
Yeah. What else would it be?
That's what everybody has, man.
God almighty, you gonna give me, y'all all gonna give me a complex, and I ain't got one already when I walk out of here, God almighty.
Was it 480?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I came up here, like I said, the last place I lived in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Coming up from South Georgia, worked my way up here. I married, about 30 years ago, I married a girl over here from Nicholasville, Virginia. We've been divorced for a while. That's the best thing she ever did, was turn me on this area. For those of you that grew up here, y'all don't know how lucky y'all are. Because, I mean, I grew up where it was pretty rough. And like I said, I like it here.
We do live in a town that where the crime is pretty low, isn't it?
Yeah, I
I mean, we're
can
at the
actually
top
walk off
3
and
or
read my,
4 in
it
the.
could be a lot worse. Not lock my house up and feel safe.
Hey,
This is the
Emily.
safest place
Do
I've
we have
ever felt in
anything
my
else?
life.
I was wondering, everybody, we had a great time with the parade last week there. It was probably the best parade I ever went on. And I'd like to thank John and Emily, Mindy, and Fire Chief. They even want to put it on there, and I got more people Right about,
The nighttime turned out good, and we had a good crowd.
Why don't you talk to that lady right back there, the one, sack the candy up?
I mean, that was
Yes.
great there.
Thank you, Steve.
Easy to throw.
Seriously, that was great.
You all will pay later. We
Okay,
did it again today.
well, if anybody else
Oh,
doesn't
yeah,
have
we went for
anything
the
to say,
Santa run, right?
let's just leave then and this.
Motion.
Well, we got the Santa run coming up this week, too.
Just
Well, this is just
Saturday.
on
Saturday.
Saturday. And so,
Motion adjourned.
did you have anything to say?
Yeah, we just walk out.
You're wanting an application for the,
This is
the
fine.
health.
Oh, you're okay.
See that girl right there,
Give you all
and
your
she
signature
can,
for your
she'll
house,
give you
sir.
one.
You'll love
'Cause
it.
We don't take the applications back.
That's what I told her, but somebody, she called down here and they.
Julio, I'll give you a call.
An application. I said, "That's all done."
Cut towards ready for this car, if they give me the word on it.